Hey guys, sorry it's been a while. I've been way too busy, and yeah, I'll probably still be busy for a while, but it's better late than never. I thought I may as well get around to doing this 6.0 update video, just in case you're one of probably very few people who play the game and hasn't seen this yet, or whatever. If you just didn't understand some of the small things, I could maybe explain them better. And don't worry, I'm still going to get around to answering all the questions from my last video. I'm just waiting until I actually have time to not be stressed about and like rushed about my responses. So I just want to do an actual good job. So anyway, the biggest thing about this update is, of course, the new Gwendoline skin. We now have a scientist skin for Gwendoline, which is awesome, and it makes her fire blue, and it makes her hair blue, and there's a lot of blue. Blue's my favorite color. It's great. And we actually apply a burn asset to MOABs now, which is great, because you could never tell when they're on fire before. You just kind of had to assume, which was annoying, especially considering that fire doesn't burn through MOAB layers. So I'm like, is that one that's already been burned through, or is that one that is still burning? I don't know. It's, you know, quality of life. It's nice. And then yeah, we got the mortar. That's also kind of important, I guess. Then we got a new tower, the mortar, and it's obviously the mortar. It's not a single target tower. It never was. But we got top path here, which is like a stunning path and radius and damage, and then we got the middle path, which is like immunities and attack speed, and then the ability, of course. And we got the bottom path, which is kind of all about the burny stuff, I guess. More like the signal flare and shattering shells. It's, I guess, utility support. So anyway, just looking over it, yeah, we pretty much just increase our radius and gain damage. We got shell shock, which basically stuns balloons in the middle, and then there's like a shockwave out from the middle, which damages stuff, which is a complicated way of saying stuff in the middle gets stunned and takes more damage, and stuff on the outside takes a little bit of damage. And the big one, yep, does 5 layers of balloon, and the biggest one does 10 layers of balloon. The biggest one is kind of, I mean, it's underpowered at the moment. We kind of know this. Everyone knows this. It's just too expensive how much damage it does. But it's still pretty cool, and it's still good. It's just, it's kind of more cost effective to get multiple of the big ones. Partially, this is because there's actually a bug with it where its radius doesn't increase for some reason. That was working, but now it has the same radius as the big one, so you can't really tell that it's the biggest one because it's just as big as the big one. There's not enough bigness. And yeah, so that's that path. Middle path actually has the highest DPS in terms of single target, although the top path has much higher pierce, so you'll get more damage purely because you can hit more things. Middle path, though, much better for single target, and if you're just not hitting pierce cap. Because anyway, we get, yeah, rapid reload, obviously faster rapid. Heavy shells, this makes it do more damage to a bunch of different things. Yep, ceramic, lead, and fortified, and it also lets you pop black balloons. So this also does mean if you hit a fortified ceramic, you'll do 5 damage. And I think that's without this. Actually, I think that's without that. I forgot. It was one or the other. Might be 6 with you if you add Bloom Buster, but it's pretty good regardless. Because it does bonus damage to ceramics and then does bonus damage to fortified. It actually combines both those together and does bonus damage to ceramic fortifieds. Yeah, whatever. Artillery battery, it's just super fast. We don't have a tier 4 ability here, which is interesting. It's the only tower in the game currently which does not have a tier 4 ability, but it's 3 times as powerful just from this upgrade, so it's a very good upgrade. But I don't know. I would like to see an ability here in future, even if it's something small. And I've got some ideas there, but for now, it's just this. And then, yep, Popinor, tier 5. This is actually really incredible. I love this. It's expensive, but it does an 8-second stun, I think, to everything, except for bads, of course, because they're immune to stuns, but even zombies, they'll get stunned. It's great for catching DDTs. It lasts a long time when you just chuck it down and watch it go. It's fantastic. Definitely good to have. Bottom path, obviously, burn stuff, burn stuff. Signal flares. That's not as self-explanatory, but anything. It gives the mortar camera detection, and then if anything the mortar touches also has the camera removed. You know this. It's from BTD6. Shattering Shells, though, is a new one. It removes the fortified property from everything it hits, which is the main thing. It removes every property, like regrow, whatever. But it removes fortified, and this works on MOABs and BFBs. Nothing above those two, but it's still quite good to use on those two. So it's basically an instant 200 damage to a MOAB and an instant 700 damage to a BFB. Just on the first hit, of course. It doesn't do that every single hit, unfortunately. But yeah, it's pretty good. Blue Incineration is my favorite upgrade for the mortar. It's awesome. It's very expensive though, but what basically this does is it upgrades the burny stuff to do from 2 damage to 5 damage. Sorry, yeah, and it does 100 damage to MOABs. So that means, sorry, 100 damage per tick to MOABs. So you do 200 damage to MOABs, and you just take them out. Technically take them out in one hit, but it's a dot, so it's not instantly when you hit them. It's very powerful. It's very good. That's the mortar. We also got 2 new maps in this update. We got Quad and Moon Landing. That's the one. And Moon Landing is basically made for the mortar. It's super fun. I like this one. And I'm kind of ready to give it a shot, but not quite had the time. We'll just jump in on Sandbox. So yeah, balloons they come in, they spin around a few times, and they spin around a few times, and they spin around a few times. It's quite a long map. You can't see over these. So it tells like dumb monkey don't work here. They can shoot through that gap there though, and there's actually I don't know. Let's see if I can do this. You can kind of get them to bounce. There we go. That's pretty effective actually. You can get them to bounce in there and then kind of bounce around. Very good. I love the bouncing juggernauts. And chuck the mortar on there. This is why it's made for the mortar. Stuff spins around, it gets hit a lot. And as you can see, I do quite a lot of damage to MOAB, but it is not a single target damager, so I don't take it out. I did actually take it out though, because you can just move to a new spot, but still. That's why we love the mortar. And we also got 3 new knowledge points for the mortar, so that's pretty good there. A bunch of bug fixes. Probably, I mean, nothing too huge there. Go for these. Any bug fixes of note? Your subs will now work correctly with advanced intel. They'll hit DDTs under an MIB. Subs have had problems for a while, so hopefully that's the one. Yep. A couple minor things. Big one, the Comanche heli. There was a bug where Alchemist buffed it way more than intended, and that's why it was incredibly super extreme OP before. Now it's only incredibly super OP. Yay, it's slightly less OP. Yeah. A couple more minor ones. So then we get into the buffs. Inferno Ring basically used to do 5 damage each hit to MOABs. That's been increased to 8. Your Flying Fortress was... Yeah, Flying Fortress attack rate was buffed by 20%. I think the attack shooter is pretty good now, but Flying Fortress is still just too expensive to use in a regular game, obviously. If you use it in free play, it will do a load of damage. It's not really bad. It's just way too cost inefficient to use in a real game because of that huge tag. Heli. So the Apache got a big buff too. I think it's fine now. I would kind of prefer it to deal with ceramics a bit better, because it does take that dip in efficiency if you use it on Pursuit after round 81. But it is actually very strong, especially if you just target it on MOABs. That's what you need to do. It is a MOAB shredder. It is not a Pursuit kind of thing, which is confusing because that's the Pursuit path and you want to just use it on Pursuit, but it's not. Yeah, until something changes and it gets a buff to like shred ceramics a lot faster, you need to learn to use this tower as a MOAB shredder, and then it's fine. But anyway, hopefully we'll get it something on the ceramics in future, but it's decent against them. It's just not amazing. Wizard Lord got a buff, but obviously it wasn't buffed enough, like it never is. Alchemist was reworked, which is the big thing everyone's talking about, the only nerf in this up. Oh, only nerf on the actual tower. Gwen was also nerfed, but hey. So these two upgrades, instead of lasting for a duration, they will last for 30 shots and 50 shots, similar to how Acidic Mixture Dip lasts 10 shots. So they all last for an X number of shots now, rather than a duration. So the downside to this is basically it just means they'll run out faster. So if you use them on a Super Monkey, they'll be used up real fast. Although it's worth mentioning that does not mean they're useless with Super Monkeys. They're actually extremely cost effective with Super Monkeys. They just used to be very extremely brokenly OP with Super Monkeys. So you do some tests for yourself. They're very good still. It's just not the #1 strategy, and hopefully some other stuff can be brought up to the same level eventually. But yes, the downside to this as well is the duration does remain on them, and this prevents you from applying a new brew to them, so to the tower. So you can't just spam like 100 of your strongest stimulants around your temple and expect it to keep full uptime on the effect. That won't work. The only time to get full uptime on fast attacking towers now is Permanent Brew, which does still last permanently. It's still a very expensive one, very expensive upgrade you can't really use outside free play, but that's all it's really ever been intended to be. We might see some changes there, but I wouldn't really expect too much because it's meant to be a free play tower. Some just are, but we'll see. Supermines was buffed quite a lot as well. Oh, support, obviously. I went for everything. It got 20% attack rate increase. It probably still needs a bit more, but it's always been good in free play, very good. It's just too expensive to use in regular play, and that is intended. It is meant to be too expensive to use in regular play. In fact, I think in a regular game you only make about $175, so if you spend your money on nothing else but your one Spike Factory, you can you still won't even get this upgrade in a real game because like of all these upgrades as well. But like, it's meant to be a free play tower. That's how it is. Unless you farm, you can't get it. So the big nerf to Gwendoline, it was just to heat it up. So where is it? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember where heated up is. Oh no, it was the first one I looked at. So you heat it up. So it's just kind of a duration nerf, really. Not duration. Well, okay, duration went down by maybe 2 seconds. I'm not sure if that was now though, but the cooldown was upped from like, it used to trigger every 15 attacks. It was increased to a slightly high number. So now she will not trigger it as frequently. She still needs to attack to cast it. It's based off how frequently she attacks. But it was moved to a point where she can't just attack super fast and keep on having it permanently active. So yeah, she's still really good. I would say probably still the best tower to use, best hero to use. Although Striker Jones has risen up and is very popular now as well. So that's good news. With the addition of the mortar, which he now also buffs, Striker Jones is looking in like a pretty close second. Quincy is still not too good. He's a great starter hero if you're playing easy difficulty, but once you move past easy difficulty, he falls off in effectiveness quite quick. Yeah, Churchill kind of dropped out of use a bit in this update, I think. He's not much worse, he's just... he's one of the towers who got affected by the Alchemist nerf, because like he's a single target damager himself, he doesn't do any support, so it's all about his power. And he used to benefit a lot from Alchemist. He still benefits, like, a fair bit, just not as much as before. Because his machine gun kind of burns through it fast. So, yeah. Hopefully we can kind of get all the heroes up to a good spot. I'm excited by this because it's good to have two heroes that are kind of both very good. They both have spots. And Oban, I think, is not really too far behind as well. It just depends what you're doing. You need to kind of be more specific if you want to play with Oban. So it is better to do one of these two. But Striker, you need to be specific as well to benefit the most. But he's kind of good even if you don't go specific. So anyway, that's pretty much everything in this update. In 6.0, and I'm not too late. Better late than never. Anyway, I probably butchered a few things there because I am very tired. But hey, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If I was too confusing on anything, feel free to slap me. Leave a like on the video because you disliked it. Yep, that's also a good option. Whatever, I don't really care. But I will, as I said, I am getting around to doing my 10k sub Q&A thing. I just want to be a bit less stressed when I do it, and because of that I've also kind of been not watching my comments as much, but I will get around to that, so feel free to leave comments. I just mainly, until I got around to doing my 10k sub video, I didn't want to go over my comments too much and kind of spoil myself on them, because I don't really want to have too much time to think about an answer for some of those, and I didn't want to like try and, because I can't really skip between and see which is which. Anyway, I'm just rambling and making no sense. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you around.